I woke up today, as I'm sure many of you have as well, to the heartbreaking news that Jeff, also known as legalvices online, had tragically passed away over the weekend. Jeff and I had known each other for a little over 2 years, from the first time he invited me to join him and Hayden on his stream to talk about a particularly crazy Australian man. The stream is unfortunately no longer available. From that day onward, we would go onto one or the other's channel every week or so. And so our friendship quickly grew. Jeff was the kind of man who could make anyone feel like their best friend, and went out of his way to include everyone he could and make sure they were having just as good of a time as he was. Not only to others with channels of their own, but also to his audience that he loved so much to entertain. I know that Jeff would talk personally to many of you watching as well. Night after night, he would sit in front of his camera together with his 2 dogs, Yoda and Strawberry, snoring in the background and keep everyone company into the early hours of the morning, all the while working his full-time job. He had an energy and motivation to be as good as he could be that many people even half his age could only dream about. I have never been a person like Jeff. I'm not great at communicating with people or expressing my emotions towards them. Even now it's hard to express to you how much his friendship really meant to me. But what I might be able to do is to show you a small part of his life that you had never seen, how he lived and the things that he loved. While we had known each other for over 2 years, the first and last time I met him in person was in November, over 3 days in South Korea, the country that he called his home for the last 36 years. There are a lot of people that might wonder why someone might choose to live abroad, but from the moment I arrived, I could see immediately why Jeff would want to call this place his home. And as soon as I met up with Jeff that day, I knew he was exactly the same online as he was in person. And he immediately got to work trying to entertain and make sure I was having the best time possible. He showed me the city, and then we went to a small restaurant near his home and had some of the most amazing Korean food, grilled right in front of us. And even before we had finished our meal, he was busy setting up his stream so that he could share the day's events with his audience that he loved so much. Over the next 2 days, Jeff showed us what it was like to live like he did. He took us to his favorite restaurants, introduced us to his friends, and arranged for a bar to be open just for us so that we could have the perfect spot for the biggest event of the year, making sure that we wouldn't have to worry about the millions of people that would be crowding the streets that night. Jeff was always thinking of others and having as much of a good time as he was. And we sat in that bar for hours, drinking beers and telling stories as we watched the fireworks, and after, as the boats returned to the marina. We made plans to meet up again in March next year so that I could show him what he had shown me and repay him for his generosity, which will now be impossible. These are just a fraction of the sights and experiences that Jeff lived amongst every day, and they're also the last thing that I ever said to him. You never know what your last message you send to someone will be, but for me it was just a simple Google Drive link with a copy of these clips from one of the best weekends I ever had, which wouldn't have been possible without him, and will never be the same now that he's gone. He never saw my message, and anyone that ever spoke to him knew that that was strange. He never left a message unread until a few days ago. You might not have known this, but Jeff never told his family about his YouTube channel, which was a bit of a fun experiment for him, to see how large he could grow before they eventually found out. Jeff did so much for us, and there's one thing we can do for him too. He always dreamed about seeing his channel hit 100,000 subscribers, and he's so close at just 15,000 away. So follow the link below to his channel, subscribe so that his family can receive his silver play button for him, and also that they can know that thousands of people from all over the world cared for him and miss him too. Goodbye, Jeff.
And again, on your way out, please do me the favor of hit the like and subscribe button if you're so inclined. It costs nothing. It's absolutely free, and we'll be friends forever. Bye now.